So we have R1 and R2 access. I need to increase the font size. Wait a minute. Okay, I think this is visible, right? Okay. So let me check. I think IP is not there. Yeah, IP is there. Big. Okay, let me try to ping 12.2. Maybe R2 is not configured. Yes. Let me configure quickly. So here we have 12.2 IP address, right? Now what we are going to check, like last time I enabled the telnet or SSH. So let me enable line ATY 0 to 4 transport input or login local, right? Now if I'm going to configure here username admin, okay, and password is Cisco, right? And similar I'm going to configure one more here, username ABC, password Cisco. My mistake, password is Cisco because it will rewrite because we are using the same user. Okay, now if I'm trying to access the telnet, telnet 12.2. So first of all it will ask the username is admin, password is Cisco. So whenever we put username and password, so device is coming in privilege mode, right? That is like you not in the privilege mode, my mistake, it's user access mode. So user access mode need enable command to move into privilege mode. So whenever we are trying to push enable command, so this mode asks for the password. If you remember, I explained the same thing because currently device into your privilege level 1. Okay, so this device is currently into just a minute. Okay, so now you can check, am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so when I try to log in with the username and password, so device is coming into privilege enable mode, right? Or you can say user access mode. Not the enable mode, my mistake. The first mode is user access mode and the hash mode is enable or privilege mode, right? So whenever we don't define the privilege level with credential, because if you check on R2, just I configured where it is, just a minute. Yeah, it is here, right? What's the problem? Okay, show run pipe section username. So we defined username admin, password Cisco directly. So by default there is no privilege level with this user. So when this user tried to log in with remote, so the device is coming into user access mode. So whenever I want to go from user access mode to privilege mode, so we use enable command. So at that time device need password. Why? What is the reason? Because in this mode user is currently in privilege level 1. So privilege level 1 have just some show commands. If you check show IP interface brief, right? If you try to check show run configuration is not visible. Why? Because running configuration is giving you all configuration idea, what is configured on the device, right? All these things. So whenever you try to use enable, so that means directly you are asking for level 15 access. That means you are trying to jump from level 1 to level 15. So that's why device need password, enable password or enable secret password for that. Because if any user which is part of privilege level 1 try to move into level 15, so to secure this thing device is asking for password, right? And we have password here, that is enable password or enable secret password that we can set, right? Is that clear to everyone? That is the first thing. But still you are asking for level 15. Okay, even you can ask for any other level with putting a number like this, but still we don't have password or we don't have level configuration on the device. So right now I am moving on R2 and let's configure the password. Enable password is Cisco. Okay, now if I try to enable, so now I have here password Cisco and you can check the privilege level is here 15. So that means this enable password is giving permission to move into privilege level which have privilege mode which have level 15 access. Level 15 means you can check here show running configuration easily. That means you have running configuration visibility in this mode. Why? Because this is level 15, full access of the configuration, right? Okay, but now how we can achieve this with multiple modes? Okay, so let me do one thing. So we have two users, let me give them directly privilege levels. Wait a minute, username. So we have username admin, privilege level 15. So I am giving privilege level 15 to this user with same password. Okay, and another user is here ABC with privilege level 1, password is Cisco. Okay, and we have another user XYZ, privilege level 0 and password is Cisco. So I configured every user with their required privilege level. These are the defined privilege level. I will explain you how we can configure the customized levels. Okay, and under the customized level how we can define the specific commands as well. Okay, that also we will discuss. So just let's check one by one on R1. Okay, again take telnet. So I'm using admin credentials first of all. So whenever you put admin credentials, so this time device is not moving into user access mode. See, we are directly receiving here hash means this is level, like this is not level 1, this is maybe level 2, level 3 or level 15, but for admin user we define the level 15. So directly user will move into privilege level 15 instead of level 1. How we can check? Show privilege. So you can check the current privilege level is 15. That means once you define user with privilege level, so it will directly jump into that level instead of privilege level 0, privilege level 1. Okay, so similar we defined here privilege level 1 for user ABC and we can check talent ABC user with password Cisco. So you can see user is giving here privilege level 1. Okay, so we can see we have here privilege level 1. So again privilege level 1 have limited commands. If you if you do the question mark, okay, shift and question mark, it will give you idea what you can configure here or what you can use. Like I can check show version. Okay, I can check the IP address, but if I try to check route, yeah, it will give me the route configuration, but running configuration is not visible here. Okay, but if I try it with level 0, in level 0 what we are receiving? So level 0 have XYZ, password is Cisco. So see, these are the limited command in level 0, and you can check. Wait a minute, even show command is not visible. This must be there. Wait a minute. Show privilege. No, that command is not working. So we can't check even privilege level 0. Okay, but we can check enable. Enable means if you want to move into another privilege level, so you can put password for that, and then you can move. If you don't have password, then it will not move. But if in privilege 0 I will try enable command, and by mistake I will put this enable password, what will happen? Show privilege. So even you no need to share enable or enable secret password with any L1 or L2 engineer. Why? Because if they will get information about enable passwords, they can directly move to privilege level 15 using this command enable, and then they can enter the password and they can move directly. I hope this is clear to everyone, like what are the default privilege levels and what are the limited commands with this. Everyone, is there any doubt? Guys,
Sir, when should we give enable and when we should not give?
sorry, when we give enable command actually, like this user is in your privilege level 1 or 0, so whenever they want to access the higher level, so they can use enable command, right? So enable command is giving you access of privilege mode means where you have all commands access, show running configuration access, right? So at that time we use here enable secret or enable password. So this password is also giving you access of privilege level 15. Why? Because they are trying to log in with lower privilege level on device, and later on they are putting enable password to move into higher level. So you need to make sure these passwords are not shared with any other user in network, otherwise there can be problem. Okay,
Okay.
but
Okay.
but in such case we have to define some commands for a particular user. What I can do, I can define here like privilege. Wait a minute, I think font size too big. There must be label command. Privilege level. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. So now I want to configure for privilege level 5. Okay. Privilege exact means you are trying to configure command for okay, before that what I can do, before doing that, let me create a new username Jack, and I can define the privilege level 5 with it, right? And password is Cisco. So Jack have now access of privilege level 5, but still in privilege level 5 we have not defined any command. So R1 this user, if try to log in with username Jack, password Cisco, so see directly the device is moving into privilege mode or enable mode on the device, but this is not level 15. If you check, this is level 5. Okay, but this is giving you sign off as, doesn't mean it have full access. You need to make sure you are in which level. Okay, if this is level 15, then you can move for configuration terminal. otherwise this command will be not accepted, right? Why? Because in level 5 still we have not defined any customized command. So that means level 5 is also going to be use lower level commands. So we have here level 5, right? So level 5 have only access of level 1 and level 0 commands. So these level commands we can check in level 5, but we have option to define here some custom commands, right? That we can do. So now if you want to check, still you have access of these commands like show version, okay, but show running command is not still available here. Why? Because this is in higher level, or you can say level 15 by default, right? So what we can do after that, we can move here, and now we can use privilege. Exact means you are talking about enable mode, okay, and level number 5. So in exact means in privilege level 5, in enable mode I want to configure. Here you can define the command. So you have to define the command here, right? So the command is configuration terminal. So wait a minute, unknown command, configure terminal, my mistake. Okay, so the command is configure terminal. This is not configuration, so you can configure like this, still it will accept, or you can define like configure t. So this is also acceptable command. Okay, so now if user try to access the command, last time the command was rejected, so this time if I'm using, I'm able to configure this command. Still we are in jack user. If you want to check show users, we are using jack, who is part of privilege level 5. So in privilege level 5 just I defined one command, that is configuration terminal. So we can try just configuration terminal. If you try to put question mark, still you have just limited commands here just to help and all these things, okay, nothing else. So if you try to configure interface it 1 by 0, so still there is no command like interface. If you try for IP route 0000 like this, okay, if I'm giving here default route, still the command is not visible, right? So now you want to configure the global configuration on device. So now I want to configure configuration mode of the device. So I need to use here configure. Configure means I'm talking about the global mode or configuration mode of the device. And under that I need to define here level 5, and now I can define the command. Now I can put here interface. So I want to configure interface level configuration, okay, but interface is in configuration mode, and inside interface maybe I want to use IP address no shutdown command. So for that I need to specify, I'm talking about here interface level configuration. So I can use privilege interface, okay, level 5, and I can use here no shutdown command. Okay, I can use here IP address command. I can use here description command, right? So these commands are now available. Let me check on R1 interface. So you can check interface option is visible now. So last time the interface was not visible here. If you check, yeah, after exit there is nothing like interface, but now we have here interface, and it's 0 by 2. Suppose this is the interface. So yeah, there is one thing, I just defined the interface, I have not defined the interface name. So always make sure there are two things, okay. So whenever we define any command like privilege configure level 5, and after that we have here option to define the command. So they are talking about command, right? So command can be command is like your IP, or you can say like I'm talking about router EIGRP. So in this This router is command. The router is command. EIGRP is not command. EIGRP is not command. Then what is this EIGRP? So EIGRP, like at the place of EIGRP there can be OSPF BGP. So if you enable router EIGRP, so after this command you will get all the options like router, OSPF router, BGP. Why? Because this is the only command, and after that like EIGRP is argument. Okay, so you can't match the argument, right? So here router is command, okay, that can be matched in privilege level. So in privilege level you can match this, okay, but if you are talking about here EIGRP or OSPF or BGP, like such type of things, so those are arguments, okay. So these are the arguments, and arguments can't be matched in any privilege level, okay. So in my this same command, what I did here, I matched the interface only. If you check on R2, what we did, we just matched the interface. We have not defined here what interface we are talking about. It's 0 by 0, 0 by 1, 0 by 2, but still we are eligible to configure this. If you move exit, and I'm using here interface and question mark, so it will show you all the interfaces, physical, logical, right, whatever interfaces by default exist on the router, like tunnel, dialer, ethernet, group, libs, right, loopback, every type of interface is available here, okay. So we have this one, guys, just okay. Now what else we can do inside the interface? So that is clear, I think, to everyone. This is the command and this is the argument, right? So under that we have option of description, default, help, and OSPF version 3, but I don't think this command we can run. Like, yeah, you can see, wait a minute, maybe, yeah, that process ID, but see the command is not accepting right now because the command is not defined, because OSPF is also argument, this is also argument, right? That's why. So we can do here no shutdown, and I can do IP address like this, and even we are getting the option to configure a IP on it, and subnet mask. So IP address and subnet mask is also argument, but still you can use it, right? If you want to define the description, I can do connected with anything, right, because we don't know. So still we can give the description also, right? So if you want to check show IP interface brief, so one interface is configured here, right? So I can give more things. So suppose we have just limited command here, right? And now you want to configure some routing protocol. So like you want to configure router EIGRP in ES number. So EIGRP configuration is not visible yet. Why? Because this command is not accepted. Why? Because we have not defined any user. So what I can do to show you, I'm going to create a higher privilege, okay. Like right now we are working under privilege level 5, okay. So the current privilege level is, guys, 5. So I am going to create here privilege level 7 with another user, and I will not give any command to that user, or maybe other commands, those are not available in this. So we will see that level can access all the commands of level 5 also, okay, because of inheritance rule. So I am on R2 and we are talking about a new user, okay. So Bob is new user, privilege level 7, password is Cisco. So here I am going to define privilege level. Exact command configuration terminal is already allowed in privilege level 5, so we no need to define that. But under the configuration we can define here level 7, and that command is router ospf. So I want to use ospf, but it will allow eigrp also, bgp also, isis also, rip also. Why? Because argument, right? And now we can allow to configure ntp server command. Okay, like who is ntp server we can define. And what something else we can do? Interface ip snmp snmp server, right? So we can define snmp. So we define something else command. Okay, and what else? ip ssh version 2. So we can define this command also, but these are in level 7. So now let me exit from r1. So now let's try to log in, and username Bob, password is Cisco. So the privilege level is here 7. So this time I have here configuration terminal command. Even I have not defined that command, but still it will use. Okay, if you go to the interface loopback 10, no shutdown, ip address 10.1.10, maybe loopback is like this. Okay, so still it have access of all the commands which are in level 5. Okay, and now we can configure router eigrp. Wait a minute, eigrp is not available on this version. Seriously? Maybe. So we have ospf, we have even bgp is number 100, right? But neighbor command is not visible under bgp because we have not defined something like this. Okay, so I think my idea is clear to everyone how you can configure commands. Okay, so these are the commands. Let me show you guys. Show run pipe section, privilege level, right? So that how you can define the commands under it. Okay, so all commands are here. Okay, so this exact meaning you are talking about privilege mode, configuration terminal is configuration mode. Okay, interface inside the interface. So that how you can define. But if you try to move in a lower level like level 5 and try to access the commands in level 7, that is not possible. If you want, I can try for you. Let me exit, and okay, this is r2. Now username is Jack, right? Password is Cisco. So we have configuration terminal, but router command is not available here. Why? Because that is not allowed. That is in level 7. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everyone.
So can you show me how to move from higher level to lower level?
Higher level to how to move higher level to lower level,
Yeah.
like
For example, Jack is having a privilege of 5,
okay.
level 5, but he want to move to privilege 2 or 3. Can we do that or else?
I think that is not possible because user directly move into their level, right? So they can't do that. But yeah, let me try. What I can do, I can define here enable password according to levels. Okay, so I have level 5. So for level 5 my password is cci. Okay, converting to a secret using the enable secret in future. Okay, and one is enable secret level not level 1, level 2. Okay, and that is CCNP. Okay, I guess I have user as well. Show run pipe section. Let me check the user in level 2. I don't have user. We have, okay, level 15 ABC YZ Jack and Bob. Okay, let me try with this. So we have here CCI command for level 5. So I will start with level 7 and then I can try. So maybe this is possible with enable password. So telnet, the username is Bob, password is Cisco, show privilege, it's level 7, right? So you can use here enable and define the level number. Show, so you can see now you are in level 5. It will not ask password because you are already in higher level, right? And you try to
Hmm.
move into lower level, and let me check, the user is still Bob, right? And now if you try to access the commands, like we have NTP server. So NTP server command is with Bob in level 7, not in level 5. We are in user Bob, but Bob moved from level 7 to level 5 using this command. Okay, so after enable you can specify the level number if you want to jump in. Like normally in started, I what I did, use enable command and I put here higher level, right? So at that time device is asking for secret password, right, or enable password. But if you are already in higher level and trying to move into lower level, device will not ask the password. Because of inheritance rule, you have already access of all command of this level in level 7. That is the reason. So even you can't use those commands, but you can move into the interface. Okay, because interface commands are available, and router OSTF, so that command is also still not available for Bob also. Why? Because Bob is currently into level 5. And if it's want to move into level 1, yeah, user can move into level 1 also. Show user. So Bob is also now in enable mode, right? And uh, there is one thing. Okay, now what I did, so now if I'm trying, so password is not set for level 7 this time. Like you moved from higher to lower level, there is no problem, it will not ask you about any password. But if you forget to configure enable password for level 7 on your R2, because R2 have enable secret password for level 2, level 1, not for level 7. Show run pipe section, enable password. Sorry, wait a minute. uh, Show run. Yeah, see, we have enable secret password for level 2 and level 5, we don't have for level 7. So what we can do, at the starting of the configuration I need to define here enable secret level 7 and password is Cisco. So that how I can define. Now password is Cisco. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is privilege level 7, because for level 15 also there is password Cisco, but I defined level 7, so it will move into privilege level 7 only. So this is possible, but you need to take care about the things. Any doubt, guys? I think this is very easy, right? Any doubt, guys, about privilege level?
All good, sir.
Okay, now
No, sir.
can you tell me the problem with privilege level concept? what is the problem with privilege level concept?
The problem is we have to set the privilege. That's the problem.
Not we need to set the privilege. That can be one, but not in this. Like not in this key. We need to define privilege level 5 7. No, the configuration point of view, we can say we have problem because for a huge network, it will be very complex to configure the multiple commands on multiple routers with multiple time, right? So there are chances of misconfiguration at that time.
If L3 is not available in the shift, then L2 can't do more deeper troubleshooting.
um, yeah, L2 can't do deeper troubleshooting, right? But actually we have not given that type of level to L2 engineer, so that is our fault, not the configuration point of view. Let me explain you like what are the major. So what I have to do, first of all I need to enable or like let me exit. Okay, so we have enable, and after enable you can see we have two options here. One is here level number. Okay, by default if I use enable and I try to enter, it will ask password for privilege 15, that we know, right? But we have another option, we can use here view. But for view, as I told you, we need to enable AAA and we need here one enable secret password for that, right? So enable secret password, I guess it's already configured, but I will reconfigure it. Okay, if it's not there, so let me move first. So now we need to come here and we need to enable AAA new model. So this is the first command, guys, that we need to configure in global mode of device. And after that we need enable secret and we can define the password Cisco. So we configured a 1 minute enable secret you have chosen in the same enable password. Okay, so can be CCI. Okay, now exit, exit, enable view. So you can see now enable view device is asking for password and the password is CCI, and show privilege. So you are now part of the view, and what is the default view, guys? The default view is root. So under root we have full access of the device like this. Okay, parser view. So under that I can define the name like L1, right? So you can define like this. Okay, L1 view, and under L1 you need to define the secret key like Cisco 123. Okay, so I defined the secret key, but in your L1 view still we have not defined any command. That means you can't access anything, you can't configure anything. Okay, so for that what I will do, I need to create a normal user, like user is Dev. Okay, and password is Cisco. So I am going to be use this user Dev. Okay, for login, and after the login I will use here parser view L1 to log in the device, right? So I am moving on this yeah, R1, and exit it, telnet it, username is Dev, password is Cisco, enable view, and need to define the name of the view L1. Okay, and the password is Cisco 123, what you defined under the view. So that secret password is required here. Okay, now show privilege. Okay, the command is not acceptable. Why? Because there is no command right now. By default there is nothing, so we have just show command. what we can check, show IP interface brief. No, it's not visible. We can just check the show parsers, or yeah, show parser view. So we can check here parser view is L1. So L1 have nothing. So what I can do, under L1 I can configure some commands. Okay, so what we can do, we need to define here exact, not exact, wait a minute, commands exact. Okay, for exact we need to define, or before, yeah, exact, and I can define here include show IP interface brief, that command, right? I can define here show version command. I can define here show IP route. So I defined here 3 commands. Okay, so let's check now how many commands are visible. Show IP route command is visible, show version is visible, and yeah, show IP interface must be there. Show IP interface brief, yeah, that command is available now. Show IP route command is also visible, and show version is visible, right? So is that simple, guys? Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, now what else we can do? So I just define here few things, so I can move on R2, and still I'm under the parser view L1. So instead of doing that, what I can do, I can do all the commands. How? Like commands exact, include, all show commands. So it will allow all the show commands, but I can exclude one command. What I can do? Commands exact, exclude, and exclude the show IP root command. Okay, wait a minute, the present command, yeah, this is available, let me remove it. Okay, so I can exclude it, and let me try now. So we have all commands here, show. So you can check all commands are available here with show everything, but show IP route is not available here. So that how we can use this feature. So I can configure one more parser view. So I will define some other commands like configuration commands in that view, because still configuration command is not here. If you check, try to configure, that command is not here, right? So on R2, let me create another parser view. Parser view L2,
L2.
and yeah, I need to define the secret key first. Cisco 123. I'm just using the same keys so I can remember. Okay, you can use other keys as well. Commands exact, okay, include, all show commands, and now I can define commands exact, include,
Configure.
configure,
Okay.
right? Configure terminal, right? And I can define commands of configuration mode, yeah, include IP root, okay, interface, and even I can define the commands for interface, include, no shutdown, IP address, right? So we can define these commands here. And now if I try to log in R1 again, exit, and and I'm using the same user was Dev, right? So enable view Cisco 123, right? Show parser view. So now current view is L2. Okay, so in L2 view we have more commands like configuration terminal, interface is 0 by 1. Okay, but I have not specified the interface number. Do I need to define? Maybe it's Ethernet 0 by 3. What's wrong? I need to define the exact interface. Zero slash 0. Maybe I need to define. Wait a minute. Include interface, not the interface, configuration interface. It's 0 by 0. Okay, let's try. Yeah, I need to define here. Maybe argument is not working here. Can I try? Yeah, so argument is also need to define here. Okay, so I configured. Let me try one thing. Let me define here router OSPF. Okay, not the BGP, and OSPF AS number. Sorry, process ID. Now let's check. Is this command visible? Router OSPF and the process ID too. So yeah, you can use any process ID, but argument is matched. Can I try with OSPF BGP 100? Yeah. So for some commands argument is working, maybe not for some commands. Okay, that need to be checked with practice. So it's all about the practice. If you check multiple times, so you will get, okay, which is command, which is argument. Okay. So we tried multiple commands, so those are working. But if I try another view commands, like if I try show IP interface brief, that is working. Show version. Wait a minute. We have not defined these commands, right? Then how it's working? Wait a minute. But we did show run pipe section parser. Interface exact include. Okay, it have this command by mistake, so maybe it get from L1, that's why. So we need to remove these commands. That's why we are able to configure the commands. So let me try. Okay, now we are not able to configure the commands, right? So that how you can configure or you can avoid the commands. So we are just removing one problem from privilege level to parser view, that is inheritance rule. Otherwise the thing is same on thousands of devices. Still it's complicated to configure the configuration. Okay, and it will be very difficult to update the configuration also. If there is one change on one router, like maybe you have to add one command on a router, right? Suppose you have to add some commands related to router ISIS or something like this. So this command you need to add on every router. So maybe you have 1000 devices, so you need to repeat same command on all devices. That means 1000 times. So again it will consume your time and all resources. So that's why still we have some problems with these things, because still configuration is manual, right? But parser view and privilege level is clear to everyone.